My name is John Passfield. The title of this reading will be L.M. Montgomery, Video 28, Minor Characters 2. So here is my novel, L.M. Montgomery, I Gave You Life, a novel by John Passfield. And here's a summary. In 1938, with another world war looming and her own personal problems threatening to overwhelm her, acclaimed Canadian author L.M. Montgomery begins to write what she has decided will be her final Anne novel. That's the final novel with Anne as a character. As she works on the new book, she recalls the days when Anne of Green Gables became a worldwide literary phenomenon and the dilemma that she faced at that time, whether to write a series of novels in which Anne would perpetually remain the child the world had come to know and love, or to allow Anne to grow to adulthood with all the agonizing torments of the one who had given her life, L.M. Montgomery. So, there are three novels to keep in mind. The one I've just held up is my novel, L.M. Montgomery, I Gave You Life, in which L.M. Montgomery is a character. She is a character who is sitting down to write her novel, Anne of Ingleside. Through 16 chapters, she will write that novel and complete it in the final chapter. While writing that novel, she thinks of this novel, which was her first novel, the first novel she wrote, and the first novel with Anne as a character. So we're talking about three novels as we move along here. Now, in my novel, the main character, Ellen Montgomery, as I said, is writing her new novel, Anne of Ingleside. So it's only natural that she would think about the minor characters with whom she is peopling that novel. In the 16 chapters of thought in my novel, 7 chapters contain thoughts of the minor characters of Anne of Ingleside. I'll read from 4 of those chapters for a total of 12 minor characters. So we're inside the mind of a minor character in each case because we're inside the mind of the writer who's creating that minor character. Let's go to chapter 9, page 66. Here we are. A minor character. We're inside the mind of a minor character. Peter Kirk's funeral. I sit and listen as people speak. My ears burn as the treacle rolls off the tongues. I stand beside the casket. My eyes burn into every face. The ship of lies will founder on the truth. I've listened as all have spoken. Every speech was a pack of lies. I am the only one here who will say what we all do know. So Ellen Montgomery was going through a very difficult time in her life, and some of that bitterness, the bitterness that she felt at the difficulty she was experiencing, shows through in these minor characters. Even in a novel which is quite sunny and light if you think of the major characters. Okay, on the next page. We all sit here making quilts. They don't hear me shout and scream. I'm wearing my sumptuous red velvet to a quilting bee. I used to stay in close to the shore. Nobody ever heard me there. I'm too foolish now to dance as the waves burst and tumble at my feet. The bird in the bush can laugh and sing. The bird in the hand is never heard. No one ever seems to hear a word I say. So another rather bitter secondary character. Let's go to page 69 for a third one in this chapter of thought. Sitting on the fish wagon, selling fish at Ingleside, Jimmy is talking to Nan and her mother on the porch. Nan doesn't look a bit like her mother. Their mother has the same red hair as me. Nan doesn't look at all like her twin. Jimmy beats me when he comes home drunk. My stepmother wishes I wasn't alive. When will I get to take my rightful place? So, inside the mind of a bitter character who's being written by Ellen Montgomery, the author. Let's go to chapter 11, page 84 for 3 more characters. Here we are. The boy's father died. Then his mother died. His aunt wouldn't let him keep the dog. Jem bought the boy's dog for $1. Jem sits and mopes. The dog sighs and mopes. It's clear that the dog will never forget the boy and learn to love Jem. You can do a lot for children, bake cookies and 2 kinds of cake. What you can't do is make a dog pretend. On the next page, that woman is never happy. She doesn't belong in this family. She must have been traded with another aunt at birth. She cried when she was told not to talk of red hair. She cried when she was told not to prune the spirea. She sobbed when she was given her birthday cake. She doesn't deserve a birthday party. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house. It's better she take her poison somewhere else. So that's chapter 11. Chapter 13 of Anne of Ingleside. We're looking for page 102. Now I'm going to make a point about the minor characters versus the major characters in this sunny novel, Anne of Ingleside, in a minute. Walking along with Di. Di is enraptured with my tale of how I poisoned myself. I'm holding her spellbound with my dying agonies. The house is in need of painting. The porch is tumbled down. The garden's a jungle full of weeds. She'll see. She can't help but see. Oh, why did I invite her home with me? And a page further. It's the wedding of my beau. He is marrying someone else. I sit and listen as the wedding vows are said. Those whom God has joined together, do you take this girl as your wife? I mutter bitterly at every word I hear. I fidget with my finger. I remembered his beautiful speech as he plied his troth. I wonder if he'll ask me to give her my ring. And then we go to chapter 15, page 118. No, I'm sorry, there's one more in this chapter. I'll read it. Sorry, got a little mixed up there. One of those twins from up at Ingleside. No, she doesn't look like her mom. I just think it isn't fair, the child is saying. She should be the fairy queen in the Sunday school play. Cassie Thomas should be me, and I should be her. So Dovey Johnson has told her a tale. The world's an oyster, whose poor pearls are all lies. I'll read that line again. The world's an oyster, whose pearls are all lies. I remember the 2 different nights they were both of them born. Now, what, I wonder, should I choose to tell this child? So stories are being told about identity, but we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, now we go to page 118. They don't want me to have my dog. My uncle told me so. He said my aunt don't want me to have a dog. She liked it when it was a puppy. Now she don't want me to have it. Why do people go back on their word? They put it in the paper. Someone's coming to have a look. People give you things and then they take them away. Another minor character? Jem Blythe is lost. Jem Blythe is sleeping soundly. He has had a busy day and is lost to the world. Mother and Susan are searching the house. The men have started searching the town. There's talk of dragging the pond. But little Jem is not lost. I am asleep on the window seat. Will anyone think to look behind the door? Where I like to go when I want to be lost and found? So lost and found as a theme. The last one I'm reading today is this one. Whoops. And here it is. The Ladies' Aid Quilting Bee at Ingleside. Excuse me. Ladies come from miles around. Busy fingers keep the time for idle tongues. Quilts for mothers and brand new babies. Quilts for children cuddling and cold. Quilts for aging or pneumatics waiting to die. All in an afternoon's good work, dedicated to the glory of God, whether heeded or not. Some truths are being told. So those are all minor characters. And we are inside the mind of those characters because we're inside the mind of the creator of those characters, L.M. Montgomery. I believe that we can divide the characters of the novel Anne of Ingleside into 2 groups. The 2 groups that I would suggest are this. Number 1, the main characters, and number 2, the minor characters. Excuse me again. The main characters, Anne and her husband Gilbert Blythe, are carryovers from earlier novels. I think it's fair to say that they do not have a lot to do or to say in the novel Anne of Ingleside. They are the parents in a family that begins the story with 5 children and ends with the novel with 6 children. The chapters, sometimes in groups of 2s and 3s, though, are given over to the thoughts of the children of Anne and Gilbert and to the minor characters with whom they interact. So not much about the older characters, Anne and Gilbert, in this novel. A lot about the children and the people with whom they interact, both children and adults. Now, the fact that Anne and Gilbert are characters who have carried over from earlier novels, who were created at a much earlier time in the life of the author, Ellen Montgomery, suggests that Anne and Gilbert are not necessarily the vehicle for contemporary concerns of Ellen Montgomery. 1938 concerns is what we're talking about here. The other side of that realization is that the Blythe children and the minor characters who are new to Ellen Montgomery as of 1938, the year in which she's writing Anne of Ingleside, deal with interests and concerns, hopes and even fears of Ellen Montgomery as she makes her way through what she herself seems to feel are the very difficult days of her current existence. Her journal shows that she was a very unhappy lady in 1938. It shows up in the minor characters of a very sunny, cheerful book, or that's the way people saw the book when it came out. So if we want to know how Ellen Montgomery feels about her current life, what she feels might be the worst that could possibly happen to her, and whether she sees any hope at all that her life will change as of 1938 for the better, then we would be wise to concentrate on the interaction between her thoughts of her life at present and her thoughts of the minor characters, the Blythe children and the neighboring adults and children as we read. And by as we read, I'm suggesting that we read carefully both my novel, Ellen Montgomery, I Gave You Life, and Ellen Montgomery's novel, Anne of Ingleside. So here is my novel once again, Ellen Montgomery, I Gave You Life, a novel by John Passfield. It's found on Amazon. If you want more information, it's found at roxmillspress.com, which is my publisher's website. At my website, johnpassfield.ca, there are 2 free books, a planning notebook and a journal, both of which are free. You simply click on the icon, the cover icon at johnpassfield.ca, and there are 2 books to read about my book and Ellen Montgomery and literature and all the rest of it. So thank you very much for watching this video.